Most people will get this question wrong, not because they are not good at math, but because they don't understand a simple mathematics rule. So the question is 5 plus parentheses 2 raised to the power of 3, or 2 cubed, times 7, close parentheses. So the question asks us, what is the final answer of this? And we have 4 alternatives, and from these alternatives, only one is the correct answer. So you can pause the video and guess, and just put that in the comment section. I will review and correct your answers.
So most people will solve this problem wrong. So what most people do in this problem is they start from addition, right? So they add 5 to 2, which is 5 plus 2 is 7. And they do this. 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 cubed is 343, and then finally they multiply by 7. And this multiplied by 7 is going to be 2,401. But is this the answer? And they just say the answer is option C, but this is actually wrong, and it's not the correct way to solve the problem. So some people, more than half, what they do is they know the parenthesis is the first thing to solve, but what they do, which is again wrong, is they just multiply 2 by 7, and they get 14 cubed. So 14 cubed is 2,744, and they just add 5 to it, and they get the answer 2,749, and they simply circle option A and move on. Again, this is wrong. So these two answers are wrong, and they are wrong specifically for the same reason. When we do math operations, we have to follow an order, right? We have to follow the order of operations. What does that mean? We have to know, and we have to prioritize some operations over others, right? If we don't solve in the correct order, we would get inconsistent results. Therefore, we must follow this order when we solve math questions. But is there a principle that sets this specific order? Yeah, there is a principle that sets the order of operations, and it's called the order of operations. Now, I am going to show you that. Okay, the order of operations is a set of rules that tells us which operation to do first, which operation to do second, which to do third, and which to do last, right? There are 4 priorities here. So the first priority is actually parentheses. Those are the brackets. Parentheses, or these fancy-looking brackets you see in math. So these are called groups, and we have to solve the groups first. As you can see here, like in this, there are groups, right? So we have to solve this first before we move on to the other arithmetic. The second thing we should solve is exponents. Here, the second priority is exponents. Exponents are powers that are written on top of numbers, like 2 cubed or 2 squared, and so on. So these are called exponents, or powers. The third priority is multiplication and division. Here, as you can see, for multiplication and division, we are going to solve the arithmetic from left to right, whichever comes first, meaning multiplication and division actually have the same priority. They are both on the third priority, right? The last thing we are going to solve is addition and subtraction. So, like multiplication and division, addition and subtraction are also going to be solved left to right. Whichever comes first is going to be solved, right? So I am going to recap this for you. The first is parentheses, meaning we have to solve all the parentheses before we move to the other arithmetic. And then, after we solve the parentheses, we have to solve the exponents, or the powers. And then, after we have finished solving the powers, we have to move to multiplication or division, which we prioritize as the third priority. Whichever comes first is going to be solved, right? So at last, after we do all parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division, at the last priority, we are going to solve addition or subtraction. Again, whichever comes first. So the rule pyramid looks like this. As you can see here in the pyramid, the parentheses are going to look like this. And the first priority, which has the higher priority, is parentheses, right? So like I said, we have to solve parentheses first, and it's on top for a reason, because it's going to be solved first. The second priority is exponents, as you can see here. The third priority is multiplication and division. Here you can see. So the or means whichever comes first. And at last, there is addition and subtraction. So at last, we are going to solve addition and subtraction.
So I found an image on Facebook, and I am going to share that image with you to make you understand this concept very well, so that next time you wouldn't get this wrong ever again. So here is the example. 4 plus, parentheses open, 12 minus 7, parentheses closed, squared times 3. So this is actually the problem, and we have to solve the parentheses first. So we have to do 12 minus 7 first, right? So 12 minus 7 is actually 5. And again, we have to solve the exponent, right? So 5 squared means the number is just multiplied by itself 2 times. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then we move to multiplication. 25 times 3 is 75. And 75, at last, is going to be added to 4 to get the final answer, 79. So this is actually the way to do all math operations. Once you understand this, everything is going to be easy, and you will get every single exam or question right. Okay, let's go back to our original problem. So here we have the original problem. It says 5 plus, parentheses, 2 to the power of 3 times 7, close parentheses. So first we have to solve the parentheses. So we are going to work inside the parentheses. But inside the parentheses, there is another priority we should prioritize. The power, right? So inside the parentheses, we have to prioritize the power. So here we have 2 to the power of 3, which is 8. And 8 times 7 is going to be the next part of the equation. And 8 times 7 is going to be 56. Do we have the final answer? No, we are not finished yet. We have to add the 5. And 5 plus 56 is going to be 61. And this is the final answer. So B is going to be the correct answer. If you solved this with me until this point, I want to give you a little smiley face, because you did great. Next time, I will see you in another video solving different math problems. Until then, bye.